All right, welcome Star City Blood Bowl League coaches to the round two update for the season 8 of the Star City Blood Bowl League. We have a special guest, Alex, who is the coach of the Northeast Reapers on the call. So welcome to the show, Alex.
Thank you very much.
All right, or show or whatever we want to call this.
Right.
So Alex is currently the leader of the Blue Ridge division with the Northeast Reapers. He's sitting at the top with 2 wins, no draws, no losses. He is the only team in the Blue Ridge division right now that has not been scored on thus far this year. So good defense, good offense, and so that's what puts you at the top. I guess what I'd normally like to do is just kind of go through the standings here, kind of look at where everybody placed, some big movers up or down from their past week, location, and position. And then I figure, Alex, we could talk a little bit about is there anybody who's surprising you where they are, or maybe either if they're at the bottom or the top of where you thought they would be at this point in the year so far. So, looking at the Blue Ridge right now, the top four, which are the playoff spots that would move on if the league ended today, would be the Northeast Reapers, Bob's Southeast Purple Haven Underworld Denizens, the Kansas City Dark Elves with Ron as the coach there, the New River Nightcrawlers, which is a vampire team, and then we have Roland's Orcs, Aaron's Chaos Dwarves, Gerald's Ogres, Shad's Corn, and then we have Jack and Rachel rounding it out at the bottom with Chaos and Necro. So I guess with the way the standings look thus far, is there anything that surprises you at this point?
A pretty good showing so far from Roland. I believe this is going to be his one of his first times playing the new edition of the game since he last played with you guys in the 2016 version.
Yes.
Yeah, so strong showing so far. Um, Orcs are kind of in a weird place this edition where they're obviously not a bad team, but they're kind of shaking up. Maybe not as good as people would have thought with the um, just kind of the changes that go into the edition.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And I think that, like you said, Roland was a good player, but he never played Bash historically. He always played
Yeah.
Skaven. He did dabble in Dark Elf, or not Dark Elves, Dwarves, like maybe
Hmm.
his very first season, but didn't
Yeah.
didn't have a lot of fun. I honestly didn't have a lot of success because their speed just weighed him down so much he couldn't quite get there. So taking the total opposite of the Skaven, did really, really well with them during our 2016 seasons that he participated in. So it's interesting to see him go back to Bash and do well with them so far.
Yeah.
Um, I was shocked when Aaron got beat up pretty good. Did you beat him up this past week?
Yeah, it was just a pure dice fest like
Yeah,
from turn 2 onwards. I mean,
yeah,
he started with a blitz at the beginning of the game and it didn't even help.
right.
It was bad.
Well, and he was down a centaur too, which is that
Yeah,
that
which
hurts
made it a lot
quite a
harder.
bit. Yeah, and the same thing. Like I ended up playing Shad's team, expecting to get just really obliterated in the punching, but Shad was very very good at um, rolling 10s, 11s, 12s for armor, which he didn't need to do. But then he would only roll like
Like 4
six,
or
seven,
something.
eights for all the injuries, and so he'd be cracking my armor like crazy. But then he would just be stunning them all over the place. So I ended up with like probably two stunned players almost every turn of that game.
It's the corn
And
special.
yeah, and the only injuries I did to myself. So that was the worst part of it is even the injuries I
Yeah.
got were from there. So um, all right, so that kind of looks at there right now. I guess Bob is the current leading scorer in the league with 6 touchdowns through 2 games, so
Hmm.
three a game, which is
Yeah.
pretty good. Um, Defense wise, like I said, you're sitting at 0. The Kansas City Dark Elves have allowed 1, and the Powell Boys have allowed 1. Casualty wise, I think biggest net right now is Roland with a +6. So he's sitting at a +6 net casualties, which is really good.
Yeah.
I even surprisingly have a +4 there, which I don't know how that really happens. Completions are all Bob. He's the only person that attempts any passes,
Yeah,
and he's got
it might
five.
be like that for quite a while.
Yep.
I don't know, maybe you might see, Jack, wanna
Start
throw a
passing.
couple. Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
I
Foul
mean,
wise,
that first death, he's just like, "Whatever, I know how this season's gonna go."
yeah, yeah. The we've had a couple people that like will come in. I mean, they're excited about their new team. Whenever they sit down to play like
Mhm.
game one, I still go back to I think it was a 2016 season. We had a guy. His name was Kerry. He was playing humans. He had brought an ogre. Everybody brings an ogre on their team. The
Yeah.
very first roll of the game, he like double skulls, falls down, kills himself, just dead, lost his ogre on the very
Ooh.
first roll of the game of the season, and just could not get enough money to buy him back like the whole season. He played a whole season without an ogre from then on, and it was rough. Um,
Yeah. A
eh,
lesson hard learned.
yes, and I mean, last year I had a blitzer die the very first game, and I almost kind of panicked because I'm like, man, that's like one of the one
Yeah.
people, I'm trying to go one game without like an apothecary, and it sucks when you lose those good positionals right away.
Mhm.
Um, Foul wise, right now it's Bob's team. His Snotlings are bashing people with 8 fouls. Um,
Yeah. Not
and
gonna
I
stop.
think, yeah, I mean, there's a couple other people in here. Gerald's calls 4.
Mhm.
Jack's done 4, which are both good.
Which was
Everybody
all
else,
in one game, by the way.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just mention that was all one game.
One game,
So,
4 fouls.
as a stats guy, right, you should know that the projected outcome is is going to be two every match later on. Zero is first one, four now.
Yep.
That's a lot of fouls.
Yeah. I guess the
Yeah.
only the only other thing to mention is, we have two redraft teams that are in the top 4 spots,
Mhm.
and 3 of the teams are tier 1. One of them's tier 2. So that's kind of how our top rounds out right there. So kind
Tier two, yeah,
of tier 2 ish
yeah,
in a scale of 1 to 3.
yeah.
They're 2.75
Gosh,
maybe.
are they better? Are they better than goblins?
I don't know that that's true,
We'll
honestly.
we'll, we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
About that, yeah. After all this, we'll come back to that.
Yeah. All right. So the Mill Mountain Division, right now we have the Passing Pathogens who has taken the lead there, followed behind by the Black Pyramid Sentinels, the Blackwater Prowlers, and then the Talabine Valley Titans as the top 4 there if the league ended. First 4 out would have been the Thunder Mountain Rampage, which is Mark's dwarf team, Salt Life, the Corn, coached by Nick, and then the Box Art Barons and the Fuzzy Teeth Fingerlings, which is a Norse team. And then rounding out the bottom is the Stinky Skinks and Midnight Maulers. So I guess um, similar here, I guess, is there anybody that's surprising you here? I think this division to me is more surprising, I guess, in some ways. Um,
It it's hard for me to say since I will be honest, it's full of a lot more coaches that I haven't had the pleasure to play a lot,
yeah,
or a couple that are just I don't know them yet. Haven't had to hang around them, while we're all hanging out.
Yeah. Well, and that's the same thing. I don't think I've ever played against. I don't know if I've played against Z. Maybe I have once when he was playing his beat up Slan that were just getting
Hmm.
obliterated every game. So it wasn't really a
Right.
good matchup. I haven't played Eric Pidcock for multiple years now.
Yeah. I don't
Um,
think I've ever played a game with Eric, but I've obviously known him for a very long time. And
yeah,
I know him to be just a good, solid player for
yeah,
most games he plays.
yeah.
Um, but definitely, yeah, a little surprising to see a Tomb Kings team, like
Go two
very
and zero so
quickly into
far.
second place with a let's look at this with a 4-0 TD
Right,
ratio. Okay, 2 touchdowns a game.
right. Yeah, that's a
Um,
that's a lot. They're getting a
yeah.
takeaway at some point and still have enough time to score.
Hmm.
So, I mean, they're
Which
definitely
is
playing
which
good
is
defense.
crazy because
Yeah.
you're usually playing 2-1, sometimes 1-1.
1-1 or 1-0, or you're
Yeah,
you're
a
probably
lot of
not getting
draws.
two at a time. Yeah, that definitely
Correct.
makes
Yeah.
sense. I was shocked with the Talbine Valley Titans and the Prowlers drawing this round. I think my prediction was that even though the Prowlers had claws and the werewolves and things like that, I mean the Talbine Valley Titans, I thought just they had their blitzer that had tackle, block, mighty blow, all of those good skilled up players from the redraft. I thought that even though it was going to be a close game, I thought that the Titans would have pulled that one off. So
Yeah.
um,
Well, Eric had went into that game with some guard or no guard. Some, right?
I think he
Because
had
that two
at
guard
least
was there from the
two.
start because he didn't get those this one.
Right. Yeah. I think he got two, and then
So it was a
uh,
two guard deficit starting the game
yeah.
because uh yeah, Fluff had all four because the blitzer got injured this match, so he had all four. So it was two guard deficit. So I'm not too surprised since Fluff was not running with the ogre this time around. So
Right.
Eric had a strength advantage the whole game, and two guard. I'm not quite sure makes up for you know, two flush golems that can stay on the line at armor 10 plus and only like a couple mighty blow to really force the issue on there. I
Yeah.
think it makes the game more even than it seems.
Right. Yeah, and I don't think these redraft teams are that far apart. I mean, they definitely have some good individual players, but the team as a whole is not that scary. I think there's just one
Yeah.
or two players that are scary.
Hmm.
But if you can shut those players down or isolate them, you're essentially playing a
Yeah.
skillless team, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
I think my team is personally better than any of the redraft teams. Like,
yeah, I mean, obviously, hypnogaze is great when it works.
of course.
And is I had when I played Ron the first round, I was lucky enough to roll really well on my hypnogazes, and I was
Yeah.
just pestering those
Most of it is
block dodge
chagrin.
players. I mean, pretty much every round it was go up, hypnogaze that player, blitz your witch elf, knock her down, stun her, knock her out, whatever, and
Yeah.
just repeat the whole game. And um, I think when it works against those teams, that's the kind of races. Vampires are going to surprise. I think some of the
Yeah.
redraft teams if they can get a hold of some of those skilled up players.
Yeah.
Um, I guess the other thing, the Thunder Mountain Rampage dropped their match. I think they played against the Passing Pathogens, so they annihilated some Skaven, including killing one of the redrafted, pretty skilled up Skaven throwers.
Yeah.
Um,
That was very clutch.
Yes, but they ended up not being able to stop the offense. Ended up getting beat. A couple of teams bounced back. Both Salt Life and the Box Art Barons won this round after losing the previous. So that was good for them to get a win on the board. And then the Fuzzy Teeth Fingerlings, Stinky Skinks, and Midnight Maulers are still looking for their first win so far. Um, Kind of looking at touchdowns. Right now, there's two teams that haven't allowed a score. That's the Pathogens and the Sentinels.
Yeah.
Everybody else has allowed two or more touchdowns. Casualty wise, it looks like +6 for Mark. So Mark right now has a +6 on the Thunder Mountain Rampage for a net casualty. Completions are to the Talbine Valley Titans, but there's a lot more passing going on in this division
Yes.
than
That
in
is a
ours.
passing heavy division.
Yeah. No interceptions yet. And then kind of looking at fouls, the Stinky Skinks have done six with anybody and
Two of
everybody
them
who
with a
they could.
source, I believe.
That's probably one game too. That was
Yeah, I
that
think
one
two.
game
Yeah.
against Gerard as well. So
Yeah. And again, I think two of them was from like
a
two of them was from
Crocs.
Source and one from a Crocs or
Yeah,
something, which
yeah.
is amazing. I love it. I'm
I
all for it.
yeah. If you have that kind of
Nobody's too big for the boot.
you're right. Yeah, or getting thrown out, I guess. So, all right. So I figure we could probably look at the matches coming up, give our predictions here, kind of look at the strengths. So, I guess first up we have the Kansas City Dark Elves against the District Decimators. So, redraft Dark Elves against Ogres. Right now, the Dark Elves. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They got 11 dudes, so um, they're sitting on 75K. They did pick up an apothecary finally, so they got a little money in the bank. So they're sitting at 1270, and the
Hmm.
decimators I think are healthy as well, and they have more than 11 players sitting on 100 grand. So I'm assuming they're saving up for either they probably need a reroll, I think, before they need a fifth ogre or a sixth ogre in my mind. But
Possibly, yeah.
they do have um, one player that's got 8 SPP that is not skilled up. So I'm assuming they're trying to get for block. It looks like
This
Dongo.
is Tongo.
Yeah, Dongo may be saving up for block,
Yeah.
is my guess.
Yeah, the Ogre team famously is not a team that really wants to bother getting most of the strength skills, other than Juggernaut Break Tackle, which are very nice, but he
Yeah,
has a Juggernaut Break Tackle Ogre
already.
in and of itself, so,
Yeah, so I could.
Guard doesn't really do anything on an Ogre team. It makes your 3
Oh,
dies easier in some ways, but not super relevant when you're not a loner team.
yep. So I'm looking at 305k inducements for the ogres
Yep,
in this
same.
matchup. Um, what could he take for 305k? I think you can take most everything, right? 305 gives you even more, great.
So, no Morg,
No
obviously.
more, he's 380.
Um,
That's right.
yep,
But
some notable ones, Griff. Griff is pretty
Griff
good
is
if you want jump
good.
at all.
Yeah.
Um, Ripper is available to that team, but
I,
I mean, you don't really need like the strength guys. You just want something like a Griff or
I feel like,
Black Gobbo if he wants to get extra fouls out, which that might be something to consider of just having extra fouls on a Dark Elf team
yeah.
because they're gonna score. Like that's a surety.
hmm Yeah, I think Rumbelow would be a hot pick because they have tackle block.
Yes.
Horns, you know what I mean? Juggernaut, so you'd be able
Hmm.
to strength 4 blitz some elves that have dodge.
Hmm.
Um, I think that's probably a hot pick. I mean, of course,
Bomber
Cindy's a
Cindy,
good
right?
one. Bomber is a good one.
Literally
There's
can take both
and a
and
bribe.
two bribes
Yeah.
because that's oh sorry right yeah they're both 50K, yeah, so
Yeah,
you
they're both
can
50.
take it all.
Yeah. It
I
would be
mean
cheaper
if
to
you
take
really want to
both.
not make friends, which whatever, right? Take Bomber and Cindy, that's what I'd do.
Yeah,
But
take Bomber, Cindy, one bribe at least, maybe two bribes.
yeah, you could probably take the one bribe, and I mean you don't have to spend it on both of them. You don't have to spend it on either, honestly.
Well, you'd start one, have
Yeah,
one on the bench, and then, yeah.
just roll 6.
Yep. Yeah, so I mean, both both Bomber or Cindy or one Bomber, I think, and Rumbelow probably makes a good choice too. You could even get an inaccurate wizard for that price, I think, as well.
Yeah.
So,
If he likes chainsaws, chainsaws are famously very good against dodge players.
yep. So I guess looking at this, um, offensive obviously hasn't been able to score a bunch. I think he's only been able to score once in this time. Ron scoring 1 to 2 times per game. Playing really good defense. Um, avoiding injuries, Ron has mostly. Obviously, the brutality is not causing a lot of injuries. So the mighty blow from the ogres is not hurting a lot of people they've played thus far.
Yeah.
Um,
They played against orcs and
I'm trying to think who.
chaos dwarves before, so
Yeah.
makes a little bit of sense why it's been kind of a rough couple matches. Those
Yep.
are not the greatest matches for ogres.
Yeah. The main thing that really separates them is obviously the ability to foul on the ogres versus the
Yes.
dark elves. So I guess do you have a prediction for this game?
So I think this is going to be a rough one for Ron. I'll be honest.
You think?
I think this is going to be probably his hardest early match as a redraft team. Um, I think it's still going to go to him, but it's going to be a hard fought battle. I think it's going to be either a 1-0 with Gerald stopping any touchdowns after, or just
Hmm.
a 2-1.
Okay. I would say that I actually think this is going to go to Ron 2-0. The only way I guess I could see it going the other way is if maybe Gerald decided to take Griff. I think he could score a little easier with Griff than the other inducements we're maybe talking about. But if he
Yeah,
wants maximum carnage, it's the two bombers and the bribe. And you know what I mean? If he
yeah,
really wants to hurt Ron, that's the way to do it.
Which I mean, that's how you should play ogres, honestly.
Right.
You have
Yep.
you have to commit to that first half of just destroying their good players. And not
Yep.
even their good players, you just need to destroy enough of their defensive line that they don't have it anymore.
Right. Yep. And so, all right, so we got Ron winning this one either, by a touchdown or maybe
Mhm.
two at this point. Moving on, we got the New River Nightcrawlers, which is my vampire team, against the Marlin Bay Marauders, which is Jack's very unlucky thus far chaos team.
Yes.
Um, right now, I'm sitting at 1150K. He is at 1050.
But
So
with
I think
10
he's going to
players,
have,
there's
yeah,
one
so
journey. Yeah.
he's going to end up with a journeyman. So he'll be at 1110. So 40K inducements, not a lot to
Yeah.
do with. Um, he
Get you a
does,
mascot.
yes, yeah, you could get a mascot. It's probably the best pick. He's got three rerolls. So he could take like two coaches or something like that to prevent me from getting rerolls, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, the main thing I guess here is that obviously he's down a chosen blocker, no big guy. His randoms for mutations didn't go super well. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously something like claws or tentacles or two heads or any just about anything other than what he rolled. Foul
Even
appearance would
even
have
a
been
random
nice.
pro,
Or
even a random pro from a
yeah,
general might have been okay.
yeah. I'm not so sure that I agree. I feel like I would have rolled a general for the Beastman. I'm okay with rolling a mutation for the blocker and
Yeah.
taking the chance there, but
I think that the random on the guard guy, I think that's completely reasonable. You know,
yeah,
you chose a skill on him that you wanted, and you're gonna go, okay, I have a little bit of SPP to burn. I wanna kind of get ahead of the skill game. I'm gonna random a mutation. There are things that I'd like, but I'm okay with virtually anything except the um 1 in
12 or
6 or 1 in
yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
whatever 1 in 8, whatever it is.
yeah,
I don't want iron hard skin, right?
yeah,
That's all you care about. You're like, "Okay, well, I lost that roll, but I'm only out 20K," you know?
yeah.
That's fine. I think that's reasonable. On the Beastmen, that one's a little hard to convince me because there's not a lot of mutations that you really want or need on a Beastman. Like, it can be
You
nice
already
to
got
have, like, big
horns.
hand, 2 heads, and extra arms, but, like, yeah, as you said, you already have an extra arms guy. Any random general is gonna be fine because Beastmen are very nice in that even when you get, like, shadowing is famously, in this edition, very, very not good skill, but,
Yeah,
like, it's it'll still go off, 1 in 6 times.
right. Yeah, and I think that since he already had, obviously Horns is blocked out. That's one of the ones that you would want
Mhm.
on somebody randoming.
Yeah.
Your odds of getting Ironheart skin are that much more high, I
Yeah.
guess. Disturbing presence, I would say would be a good skill if he was in the other division. I think that because we're not
Oh,
passing, not
100%.
not
Yeah.
catching, handing off any of that. I mean, aside, it'll
He'd be
help him
fist
against two
pumping.
teams. Yeah, it'll help him against two teams um, and he's not played them yet. Which oh no, he did play them. He did play Ron's team.
Yeah.
So there's one team that disturbing presence will probably be most useful on.
And
But
there's something to be said that you can use disturbing presence to um, quite a great effect. If you grab a weather mage, for example,
yeah,
you force rain on a chart that has it. You position your disturbing presence guy in a position where you're forcing your opponent to do a handoff or a pass play just to
right.
score. You've now given them a -2 to make that play happen. You
Yeah,
know, not every skill is useless. It's just less situations that are useful, and the situations that are good in, they're amazing.
yep, that's right.
Yeah. But we
He
don't need to beat him over the head over
no, I
you
think
know, the the
I
decisions
actually
on the random, the ship has sailed, right?
no, I think that the choice to random I agreed with. I think
Yeah.
I would have random maybe both of these at this point, considering one, he's only been able to get MVPs as his SPP, so he's behind on SPP quite a bit.
Yeah.
So he needs to catch up in some
Oh,
way.
of course.
So
Just maybe the
randoming
wrong
is there.
category.
The only, yeah, I think you picked the wrong category for the Beastman. This one, I think I would have ended up with deserving presence just as well.
Mhm.
Because mutations are fun. I guess that's the only thing that makes getting
Yeah.
mutations is fun. Um, all right, so the New River Nightcrawlers. So I got 4 healthy vampires going into this vampire blitzers. Um, 1 pro block, 1 pro, regular just block, and then I have a
Yeah.
block dodge sidestep
Oh, you actually get a
vampire.
journeyman as well.
Yeah, I'll get a journeyman as well. So
So
that
you'll be
will,
1190.
yeah, so he will get a little more money. Um, yeah, because I'm at 10 right now. So I would go up to 1190. He has 1110, so he gets 80K.
Yeah, that's not bad.
No, I think that's gonna help him.
Yeah.
He could get. I mean, obviously there's stars like Acorn, but that's probably a waste.
Which one's Papa Skullbones for the coaching staff?
He rolls 3 random mutations during your game.
Sold. I'm
That's what
sold.
you get. You get Papa Skullbones.
You didn't. Yep. Papa
I
Skullbones.
the one
Let's
thing
go.
I wonder.
You can keep them too afterwards, right? If you roll a six or
I
something.
think we're gonna find out here.
That might be the other guy. That might be like the doctor.
Yeah, Frinkleheim or whatever. Papa
Yeah.
Skullbones. So you roll on this table right here at the start of
Start
each
of each drive.
drive.
Okay.
Yeah, after the teams is set up, but before the kickoff, he attempts to bless one player.
One.
Okay,
Okay.
one player.
I
You
mean,
you roll a d8 and you get either he's struck down and immediately removed from play, put in the knockout box.
yeah. All right.
He's overlooked by the fickle gods and he has to select another player and roll again.
Mm-hmm.
The player gains big hand and very long legs. He could
Big
gain
hand's good.
Yeah, he could gain tentacles and prehensile tail.
Fantastic.
That's good. That's a good one. Disturbing presence and foul appearance.
But
That's not
that's
bad.
still fine. Free disturbing presence, especially a free foul appearance, is just good. You know,
Yeah.
free. You know,
Grizzly bifurcation is extra arms and 2 heads. That's great.
great.
Thorny protrusions is claws and horns. It'd be good if it was on a.
Arguably the best one for this match, possibly.
Yep. And then the player gains 2 skills of your choice chosen from mutations.
Yeah,
So I'm not
I
sure
like
that.
it.
Yeah. So I
One
think
out of
you
two,
have
it's
a
just
one.
to bone you, but you
Yeah,
know,
but I think you have a 1 in 4 chance of getting something good. Because the eight's
mm,
always going to be good, and then
yeah,
4 of these are good. I think big hand, very long legs, maybe the least good
hmm.
of these options, but I don't think you'd be too sad.
Note that it doesn't say like anything like a player without mutations. So those will go on to players
Hmm.
that have mutations. So you know,
Yeah,
some of it gets a little wasted if it like the
if you rolled the
horns
horns
plus
one,
yeah, like it goes on to a beastman who just gains claw, which is still fine.
yep. He does have an Apo and 3 rerolls, and
Yeah,
I have 4 rerolls in an Apo. Yep, four
yeah.
rerolls in an Apo. Um, so thus far, he has not been able to score in the 2 games he's played.
Hmm.
Not able to get in the end zone. I've got in a couple times. Defensively, we're both playing pretty good defense. I think I've allowed 2 touchdowns. He must have allowed 2 or 3 since
Hmm.
he's a little lower. Um, brutality, he's not hurt anybody in both of his games.
Unfortunate,
That's
but
unfortunate.
it'll change.
Yep, that'll change. I'm doing pretty good there. We're both resisting getting killed. I think that will change for me. I think I've just been lucky in these few
Yeah.
games to
Have
avoid
you
it.
actually had anybody get a casualty but regen?
I've not. No.
You haven't even suffered
Well,
casualty on the
no,
dice.
no, no. I did. I had a casualty from a failed dodge on my dodge vampire. So 1 reroll 1.
Yeah,
He ended up badly hurt. I tried to regen him and failed, and so he stayed
gotcha.
badly hurt. So
That's the
yes, I
big
did.
thing too. It impacts that stat regenning them because
Yeah.
it helps your resistance score just regenning.
Oh, okay. Yep. And then dirty players, so he's been able to foul a little bit, it looks like. I fouled a few times
Yeah.
when the right thing happens. Graveyard weather. So I guess what's your prediction here?
Double one, somebody's really sad when their best player has to sit out until it changes.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I think it's a
it
hard one to predict.
yeah. So it's vampires have the Lizardman problem, right? So if you target all the thralls, just like targeting all the skinks, the team can't function anymore. It just actively cannot.
Right.
Um, and in some ways worse so for vampires, some ways better ways for vampires, since they can actually have good agility versus Saurus. As long as you don't fail activations, you're fine. But if he can get key removals on thralls when you're starting this match capped at 11 already, um, I think he can carry it through. Um, but it's just with the skills as it is. Um, I'm still giving it to the night crawlers. 2-0, maybe 2-1.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that
If the removals
against
are good,
yeah, I mean
then
against
we're good. But
a differently skilled chaos team that had maybe gotten a little bit better start, I'd feel less confident going into this match.
yeah,
But I think what they've got, not they're down a strength four guy, so I mean I have more strength than he has
yes,
theoretically at this point. So I mean,
and your strength four guys are better currently.
and better, yes. So I mean that's the big thing.
Yeah,
I've been able to manage knocking out my own guys pretty well, so that's a plus. But um, yeah, I mean
like
I
let
think
me put it this way too. If I was coaching this exact chaos team against you, I think with us both playing, I think I could manage a draw.
right, yeah,
I think I could manage a draw with it. And I'd probably go with um a weather mage and a keg personally, but I'm a more cautious coach when it comes to stuff like that. And I do honestly think that Papa Skullbones might be the better thing because you need that random edge to push it up, and you're already kind of screwed with like a lot of the wasps because you're not going to lose a key player. If you
right.
if you lose the the guard guy or a
Hmm.
block guy, it's fine. It didn't make too much of a difference. But if you gain claws, you're gonna start hitting vampires and keeping them off the
Taking them
pitch.
off, yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
that's right. And I think that you know I don't know if I'll win this 2-0. I think that I can win it 1-0, but I think that I kind of have this
Yeah.
like this goblin thought of like goblin coach thought of a draw for vampires. I feel like I won. Like
Right. Yeah. It's the
it's
moral
like
victory.
that's still good for me. You know what I mean? Like as
Yeah.
long as I draw and don't lose, I feel like I won. So, we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
Kind of
You
go
could
through.
also roll very poorly the whole game, killing your entire team, and he just takes a 3-0 victory. So
Yep.
that's the problem. It's so hard to judge. If you never fail savagery, then I think this is a 2-1. If you have like a more expected outcome of those, I think he'll mess you up. I think he'll absolutely destroy you.
Yeah. No, and I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with
Yeah.
that.
Same.
Um, next match, Death Dodgers, Corned Beef. Both of these teams are yet to get a win thus far. They're
Yeah.
right now sitting at similar team values. I think looks like uh,
One journeyman
Necro
for
yeah, they're going to be at 1070. Corned Beef,
and one journeyman for both, but 10K up on Shad's side because 50K journeyman versus 40K for a
yep.
zombie.
So not able to get anything
Nothing
at this point. So no
unless
inducements are
somebody
going
wants
in
to
this
go.
match.
I
Looking
mean,
at
if the favorite wants to spend treasury, he's got 45K.
yeah, I doubt that. Um, I doubt he'll do that. So, Rachel, they are sitting with, both their skilled up werewolves looking pretty
Mm-hmm.
good. They're probably getting close to getting their second skill soon. Both wraiths are in flesh golem now. We do have one flesh golem missing a game, so that's going to hurt a
Yeah,
little bit.
out of flesh.
Misery is still in, so maybe
Just
they'll
one ghoul.
get some company. Just one ghoul. So really, three
Mm.
ball handlers is all they have. Is the two
Ooh,
wolves and the ghoul. So that's low.
okay. This is
Looking at
versus corn, so
corn. Relatively healthy. The downside is Haggis got surfed, and when Haggis got surfed, Haggis got an Yngling injury. So
Yeah,
they
not
dodged
the
two heads.
worst,
No, but
but
that's their, I think, the
yeah,
main ball carrier they were using for a lot of things. So you're at least missing that. Um, Still got four Blood Seekers, both block Mighty Blow Frenzy.
three very good ones. Yeah,
Three good ones, yes. There were a couple times I think Shad got when I played him. We got into this thing where like he ended up having unfortunate turnovers because the guy he ended up blocking with, because I mean he didn't have a choice, was say his Mighty Blow Seeker, and if it would have been the block one, it would have been fine. And you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it was just the wrong guy at the wrong place when it needed to happen, kind of thing.
And
Um,
unfortunately, that's the corn
yes,
problem. Is you have to play it like chess. You got to be 3 turns ahead with them.
yes, and it definitely was something that was kind of, I think, a brain burn for Shad. I think anybody that
Yeah.
plays corn, it's kind of a brain burn.
Hmm.
They still have two corn gores, so two real options to carry with. I mean, theoretically, you could carry with even the Marauders,
Which
but I
I
think,
usually do anyway.
yeah, the corn gores are nice to have as blitz pieces, and you typically don't want to be blitzing with your ball carrier.
Yeah, I
Um,
play them as ball hawks and I guard pieces.
yep,
They're
ball
they're
sackers,
needed for it. Because I mean they shut up. Because
ball
they're 3+
sackers.
agility versus Bloodseeker, and they don't get stuck with their own block. That's the big part.
Yeah,
Um, Not having frenzy on the frenzy team, you need to think of just like, oh, I don't want to carry a ball on this guy. I want to have this guy available to help my team whenever possible.
yeah. I mean, if it was me, I'd probably carry with Wishbone right now.
Yeah,
So the
that's a
block
good play right
frenzy, carry with them. If they get stuck, they could maybe, you could set up a way to get them free.
there. Yeah,
The thing that I think,
frenzy helps to get yourself out.
yeah, the thing that I think hurt Shad was obviously he's only got two rerolls, so they get burnt pretty fast. So
Yeah,
usually
and
the
no blood
second,
spawn.
no blood spawn, yeah, so no big killer
Yeah,
piece.
blood spawn does a lot of heavy lifting.
So I guess what do you think is your prediction here?
Mm, so being out the flesh golem, not even just about being strength 4, but just actually just stand firm,
Hmm.
um, is so huge. Two wraiths helps bridge that gap because sidestep is one of the worst things to play against as
Yeah,
a corn coach.
yeah,
It is there's no way you can counter it other than just killing the player. And unfortunately, attempting to kill the player usually leaves you into frenzy trap.
right. And
So
you have to
yeah,
hope you knock them down on that first hit, pretty much.
correct.
Yeah,
Yes. Um it's hard to say. So I think the skills are better on Shad's end. I
yeah.
think I still give it to Necro, but mm,
I think if Shad,
honestly, I think it's just a 1-1. It's hard to say. It
yeah, I
could
could
be
see a
2-1
1-1
to Death
draw.
Dodgers, but I think a 1-1.
I think a 1-1 makes sense. I mean, if it was me, if I was Shad, I'd probably look to use my Juggernaut horns to bully that one flesh golem a little bit and
Yes.
push him around, knock him down, knock him out the way.
Yeah.
Rather than trying, I think most people would intuitively be like, my Bloodseeker should take on this uh, flesh golem, but I think with the
No
Juggernaut, you
interest.
could
Yeah.
be pushing them around.
All the time.
Yeah.
You
So
just you every single turn, you just hit that guy to the edge.
right. Yeah.
It's a move 4 player. Okay.
Right. Yeah. And
You
eventually
have
you could
you
surf
have
it.
move 5 Bloodseekers. You're a little bit faster. Don't get stuck up with the move 4 guy that you can't push anyway.
Right. Okay. I agree with that. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
Yeah.
Looking at the next one, so Oathbreakers against the Underworld Denizen. So this one's going to be a good one, I think, to watch. Oathbreakers have most of their team healthy. They're missing some Hobgoblins. So
Important players are there.
yeah, so they'll have two Hobgoblin Journeymen coming in. So that'll bump them up by 80k. So they'll be at 1140. Three rerolls. That's pretty much it. They got sure hands, block, guard. So a little low on skills. Um, they got a guy here that could take a skill. I probably would have given him a skill.
Yeah.
Um, Maybe he still will before now and then.
I mean, what
Um,
just dirty player probably.
yeah, dirty player would be good. And then we have Bob. Bob is obviously a very skilled up team. led by really I mean, 3 players. It's really 3 players. Although some of these clan rats are getting really good with the wrestle and the kick and all that good stuff. Obviously, a 2 heads goblin's real good. He's sitting at is he have 15 players? 15 players.
Yeah, he always keeps
Is
that
pretty.
one at the spot.
Yep. So pretty full roster. 1320 team value.
What is that?
Um,
180 in petty?
yeah, 1320, and then he was at 10 or 1100, right? After no, he's getting two. He'll be at 1140 minus
40, so
1320.
180. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
what could
That's
he
actually
take?
very interesting. I
Yeah,
do believe, yeah,
could
because
take.
he can have Creek if he wants to go that route.
Yeah, could have Creek, could have Rumbelow. Withergrasp is in there as well, but Withergrass sucks now that he's at
I don't think he
JP4.
needs Rumbelow. Why would he?
No, just
Yeah, he
to
has
remove
6 Rumbelows.
just to remove the snotlings, because I know at
He
least
has
from
six
experience
Rumbelows.
he's got 6. Oh, he does have 6
He
Rumbelows.
got 6 Rumbelows. He
Yeah,
just wants Creek, right?
I think you want Creek.
The other thing he could take, like, I don't like the player, but he could take a scroll half height to have like one more like
Ball handler with sure
ball.
hands.
Yeah, just like it's not great. I'm just saying
He's
like it's
already
just
got.
one more guy.
Yeah, he's got sure hands. I'm not sure I'm into
I
that.
know. It's just like
I'd
it's
probably
just
be more into
some
like
chaos rips
Scrappa.
like to take him to have like one extra ball carrier, but like, man,
Yeah. I mean, you could take Scrappa if you really wanted to.
I mean,
Scrappa's
I
good
like
with it.
Scrappa personally.
I mean, he's Pogo, right? So he's a
He's
3 up
fast.
jumper into a cage
He's
for 2 die
fast.
uphill. He's fast, and
That's
he's got dirty player, so he can jump on people.
yeah,
I don't know if you would actually do that until maybe in the end of the half, but you could jump on people. I
yeah,
mean, I don't think Scrappa would turn down the chance to jump on, one of those skilled up Skaven.
yeah. If he wants to kill Creek,
Yep.
if he needs a dedicated scorer for star player, Scrappa for sure.
Yeah.
Beyond that, if he doesn't want
He's got
to be
bomber.
interested, yeah,
Could take
and just
bomber.
Bama, I honestly, so I'm, you know me, I'm not like one of the ones I'm like, oh, I'm scared of like rolling like the one or anything like with my bombers or whatever.
Oh, bomber's awesome. Taking the
But
bomber is
definitely when
totally
I'm
worth it.
playing Chaos Dwarves, I think you don't want to introduce a random element when you're playing Chaos Dwarves because you're not playing down. Like you're
Yeah.
not playing from a super down position. You want to like even the odds against a higher TV, higher skilled team. But I think it's a bit much to like say, okay, well I'm a Chaos Dwarf team and I want to introduce a Bombardier into it. It's just like
I guess listen to this too. What about a biased referee? Then
I
if
mean
you
yeah.
then if you get
It's a
fouled,
+1.
well, but then if you get fouled, there's more of a chance they get caught and ejected as well. So the Snotlings can't be
Yeah.
fouling your Chaos Dwarves. So
It's a
that might be an
four
option as well.
plus to it just a straight up 4+ for them to be caught or something,
Yeah, it's like a 4+, and then they're ejected.
and then you get a +1 to argue the call. So you can't be ejected, and
Yes.
you succeed on a 5 or a 6 to
5.
argue
Yeah,
the
it's
call
a 5+
to catch you at all times.
to catch you. Now there's some
It's
of these
fine. One out
named
of three
ones.
every single time he wants to throw a foul. 1 out of 3, he's just caught.
Yep. I
You
can't
know, and
remember.
you can
Are we
argue the
using the
call,
named
bribery and
ones?
corruption.
Are we using the named
That's the
ones?
basic one. I've not looked too much at the
The
named
named
ones,
ones.
and I wasn't too convinced on them. Um, there's like 1 or 2 good ones for straight up goblins, but
Yeah.
think the
I
I
I
think
don't actually know them.
I think regular dwarves have a really good one apparently, but whatever.
Nice. Well, this one,
Any
yeah.
good
Okay,
infamous coaching staff?
um, Papa Skullbones, Mungo Spire, Fink the Fixer, guy that gives pro. This guy gives something for um, touchdowns scored or something.
Mhm.
Joseph Bugman's okay. I don't know. I don't know if I am into any of these, to be honest.
Yeah,
Kerry Cold still is cool
you know,
since you're down on players. Um, it's
yeah,
nice to
it's
have more.
180K.
What is?
It's just a mercenary and slave minotaur.
We could get a Minotaur.
Aaron told me he is not like the minotaur though. He's not a fan.
They're good now. With animal savagery, you just punch
I
down one of
know.
your
That's what I told
blockers.
him.
It's
Said
10+
it's the
armor.
best minotaur. You can't fail.
You can't fail anything. Yeah.
But he's not a fan, so I know that. So
Okay.
uh,
Well, I guess
just get
that
a bribe.
Bob's his team that it normally is: sneak, scuttle, spike, block,
Yep.
two head, sidestep, monstrous mouth, break, tackle. Recently, uh,
Yeah.
block, extra arms, two heads, tackle. So he's a 1+ dodger right now,
hmm
or +0 dodger. Two heads would be a 1+. He's a +0 dodger.
Yep.
So he can dodge into two tackle zones on a 2-up, rerollable. It's pretty good. Hard to stop. But Gnaw toe cutter, mighty blow tackle horns. That's pretty useful.
Yeah.
Um, pretty general other Rose team. Unskilled troll. I'm tempted that
As
this
good as they
isn't
get.
worth even having. I mean,
Really?
I don't know. I mean,
He
an
just
unskilled
he's
troll.
an armor 10 plus guy on the line. Moves on with life.
I guess I would have gotten a rat ogre
I mean, I do like the Red Ogre, but you got to remember Bob is a huge fan of Troll. It just
trolls.
fits how he likes to play the game.
Yeah.
He
I
just
guess
wants a
you lose the
stable
throw
piece that
teammate too.
yeah, that's the big thing too. He loves to just he wants to be able to put that troll on the line, have a 10 plus armor guy to hit because remember the Red Ogre is 9 plus.
Hmm.
Um and just be able to move on with life. That
Yep.
and two snotlings on the line, don't have to care.
Yep.
Or
Um,
two goblins really.
I guess what's your prediction on this one?
Um I think hmm,
How did has
this
Aaron
is
played?
full six
He
dwarves.
beat the decimators and then lost to you.
Yeah.
And then Bob has beaten uh, Chad, and then he beat Rachel.
hmm I mean, it really just it's we kind of know this just hinges on can he take out that gutter runner and that thrower.
Yeah,
If you can't take out the gutter runner and the thrower, Bob is going to rack up the touchdowns all day.
it may
Doesn't
be 3-0. It may
with
be 3-1
player
or
skill or anything.
yeah,
Now, not saying like oh the game's playing it for him. It's more just like you have a gutter runner, even if it had zero skills. Can you stop a movement 9 player as a dwarf team? If you
yeah.
can't, he's gonna 3-0 you.
I think the thing that Aaron would
Maybe
need to
not 3-0, but
he's gonna beat you pretty good. I think the thing Aaron needs to be cautious of is keeping his bull centaurs in such a position that he can catch the gutter runner if he
yeah,
needs to. Because as soon as that gutter runner takes off, he is outside of the movement of every other piece you pretty much have
yeah,
aside from the bull centaur. So I wouldn't be afraid to use the bull centaur's sure feet sprint in order to
correct.
catch up if you need to, if you start getting out of position.
And you can't just base it. Basing a gutter, even with no skills, doesn't do anything. Let alone in
Yeah,
a two-head break tackle who
yeah,
doesn't care. And just putting tackle on it is frankly irrelevant this match.
yeah,
Um, the tackle is for hitting. It's not gonna make a difference. Like, oh no, I have to spend a team reroll on my best player.
right.
Big whoop, right?
Yep. So I think what we got is that
I think
Bobshe's
it's
probably going to come out with a win there.
yeah. I think it's gonna be 2-1. I don't
Two
think
one.
yeah.
I was thinking maybe 2-0, but
This is
maybe
gonna
he
be a
can punch
long
us one
game.
in.
I think it's
Yeah.
gonna be a very very long game. I
Yep.
think it's gonna be like 2-1 with like Aaron scoring like last turn of the game.
Yep.
I think it's because it's gonna be a quick like 2-0.
Yep. So the next matchup is yours. It's the Malice Pal Boys Orc team, Roland's Orc team against the Northeast Reapers, which is Shambling Undead. So looking at this one, he's obviously missing a big un and a blitzer, which will hurt
And two
in this
players.
matchup. He will get two Orc linemen, which will bring him up to 1100. He does have an Apo. He's only got two rerolls, so down a little bit. Um, and then he's got, let's see, you have a fully healthy team, looks
hmm
like.
Yeah, thanks
Um,
to Aaron.
yeah. No,
I have a bench too.
nice. Yeah. So fully healthy team with a bench, um, sitting on 50K, which is nice. 1165. So he's gonna get 65 on you, right?
Yep, 65. Yep.
So what do you take? I mean, I guess right off the bat, I feel like what I would take is a Wog Drummer. to
I
bounce your
love the drummer. It's
mummies
so
back.
good.
I think I would bounce your mummies off with a wog
It
drummer.
I use that even, like, just in, like, a sevens game, and it
Yeah,
was amazing.
yeah. I think wog drummer is totally worth it. Bomber's
Move 1 guy,
obviously
paid off.
okay. I mean, because you got a couple guys that,
Tick bomber.
yeah, I think you take bombers good.
Dude,
Yeah,
he's got 2 blitzers, and 2 big end blockers. The troll with guard is nice, you know?
yeah.
But, like,
He's gonna
mummies
get beat up by
famously
the
for, like,
mummies.
shambling beat up on, like, single big guys,
Yeah,
all day.
yeah.
It just happens.
I think he's gonna get manhandle. I mean, if it was me, I guess I would try and use these journeyman orc linemen to try and tie up your mummies, keep them from moving around too much. Just
Right,
take the
yeah,
hits. Hope their armor 10 plus holds up, and then, you know, try and focus on taking out maybe some of
yeah.
your ghouls, obviously, and
'Cause
whites,
you know that
because
mummies are only actually move 1, right? They move 1 square when they throw a block. That's the
right,
only
yeah,
movement they have.
right,
So if
and
you just can make that just 1 forever,
right.
or 0, then you're in good. So the big thing is gonna be, can I consistently break armor 10 plus?
Hmm.
Um, don't ask Aaron the answer to that question, but, we'll
Sometimes,
see how this one goes. Yeah.
sometimes you can.
Yeah.
Um, all right, so I guess looking at this, I can give a prediction of this. I think that you'll have this one. I'm gonna say it's 1-0. It could be 2-0 if he takes Bomber and Bomber gets off some good stuff and slows you down and, eats away some of your
Mhm.
players. But I don't know if you'll have much trouble stopping him per se, as long as your mummies don't get too out of position. Your mummies are
Yeah.
really their
And I don't
strongest when they're
value them highly either.
well, and
They're just
they're
mummies.
really they're strongest when they're standing beside each other. If they get kind of spread out across the pitch, then they'll just kind of be isolated, and they might get bullied around a little bit.
Yeah.
But I could see Roland trying to take use of his troll a little more often because he's his only strength 5 piece. As
Yeah.
much as people don't like to say blitz with your troll or do things like that, I could see him trying to do that. I
Yeah.
mean, even a
Much
blitz
more.
projectile vomit on a ghoul would be worth it, right?
Very
You
good.
you wouldn't
I'm a
want
big
to
fan of it.
necessarily hit your block dodge ghoul, but you might blitz projectile vomit on him and try
Yeah.
and just puke him down.
You might find that you're going to this match, you might actually projectile vomit a lot more than you think.
Right.
Even just on zombie, just when when the value of actually throwing the block at him, you don't really need to kill it, but like if you get it with
Great.
no turnover risk. Because remember that projectile vomit, if you do fail on the kickback roll of it, and
Yeah.
if you puke on yourself, even if you kill your own troll, not a turnover because
Just
it's
place
placed
prone.
prone.
Yep. Makes
But
sense. I guess what do
yeah,
you think? You think you feel confident going into this one?
I think the big thing that happens is it's still an orc team. They still
Yeah.
have the capacity to just weather the storm of a turn of blocks, stand up, and then put a lot of pressure. And if he can lock down my ghouls, which have no regen, and
Hmm.
place the onus on the whites to score touchdowns, then I'm not going to score a lot. Like
Right.
it's not that fast of a team. I have to mummies move 3, zombies move 4. I have a skeleton with move 5. They're having to keep up to protect those move 7 pieces. So I'm not scoring 3, 4 touchdowns a game. I'm
Right.
scoring one, maybe a second.
You might get into that if you actually get 4 ghouls at some point. Then you might be able to
Correct. Yeah.
score 3 times in a game or something like
Because then they're
that. But
protecting each other
right.
instead of
Yeah.
needing the team.
Yeah.
And I have 3 right now, but yeah, I think I am likely to take it 1-0.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see 1-0, 2-0 could be possible. If you get
I kill guys.
lava bombs, you lose 0-2.
I mean,
Uh,
well, to be fair, if we do get lava bombs, I mean, I said it last season, but I might consider conceding to just save myself the effort.
yeah. Um,
I'll just say, "Good game, sir. You've won the dice game."
You've won the dice. All right, so the Mill Mountain Division. This is the one that's actually going on tomorrow. We're letting them play early because of their schedule, which is the
Yep,
Black Pyramid Sentinels
okayed that.
and the Thunder Mountain Rampage. So, um, The Sentinels are currently 2 wins. The Rampage have dropped their last one to the redraft team. It looks like they'll get a journeyman for the Sentinels, which will boost them up 40K. They'll be at 1190. Um, all their healthy guys are still healthy, still lots of Mighty Blow, good amount of guard on their Tomb Guardians.
Hmm.
Kind of a scary Tomb Kings team for two
Yes.
games in. This is a good looking team.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
jealous of this when I played Tomb Kings. I didn't see a casualty in 5 games, my first five
yeah,
games.
yeah. He's I mean, he's gotten four touchdowns that obviously help you score up some SPP.
Yeah, one
Um,
journeyman.
and then we got the Thunder Mountain Rampage also getting a journeyman. Pretty similar team, really. This one's got 3 guard, Mighty Blow block. Still 2 Troll Slayers, so that will help a little. Apo, 2 rerolls. So I'm assuming he's saving for. I would be saving for another reroll.
Yeah,
So
that's probably gonna be the buy.
so it's 1140 versus 1190. So 50K. He takes Cindy again. He's got to trust in Cindy, right?
I mean,
You got to get
I
Cindy again.
agree,
I think
but
you
I
got to
think
get
he, I,
Cindy.
I think he disagrees at this
I
point.
well,
Did
it's
hey,
scary.
what?
I get it.
Once burned, twice shy. Okay, I don't blame him.
I wonder.
When it was what maybe first or second toss of the game, it sounded like, and just double one to yourself. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, if you can position her behind a wall of linemen and just start blowing up, Tomb Guardians,
yeah. Look, I you know that I emphatically agree that Cindy is the play. So
it's the
with
50K
knowing
play.
that, and we know Mark doesn't want to get that,
Yeah. If
weather
he, if
mage,
if he
weather
doesn't
mage
hit that,
every time.
I don't like the weather mage.
Oh
I've
no,
never seen it work
he's
one
not
time.
home though. He's not home though. So he's in desert, so there's no rain.
Right. Carry
Ooh,
Cold. I like Carry Cold Steel. Could be good.
yeah.
Um, it gives you some assistant. I mean, cheerleaders plus. I don't know what some of these are. I need to
Because you can
know.
spend carry to get she becomes a player with like block or something for a drive.
Hmm. What's the Dwarven Runesmith do? Do you know?
At the start of like every drive, you roll a d6 and it does a different thing depending on the result, I think.
Okay, on a 4+, you get to take a rune effect. Um,
It's one of those random
you get to
or
give
you get
someone
to choose.
Dauntless Frenzy, give someone Sprint Sure Feet. Yeah.
You
And
actually get
then
to choose the player, not random,
there's
right?
another one that's pretty good too. What's Master of Ballistics?
Somebody took that last match and
Oh, it's a kicker thing. That's what it is. You get to
oh,
you
you
get to
get like a
add and
weather mage
subtract
for
kick.
kick.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's
That's
like
cute.
I kind of like that. I would choose that over a weather mage, I think.
And does it affect yours or their kicks?
Um, you advise the kicker after placing the ball, but before rolling the deviation, roll a d3 on the table
So it's
opposite.
just only your kicks. Still
So,
good, yeah.
yeah.
That's quite nice actually.
Yeah, essentially you get like
Is there a mishap roll?
it's not quite. Yeah, there is. It just deviates normal. That's as worse as it gets.
Oh, so there's no mishap. There's just
It
it
works.
doesn't
It
work.
doesn't work. Yeah.
Okay. And
It's
then of
kind of
every
like
sort of type
half
sequence for
kick.
you.
And
Ooh.
like the plus and minus subtractions, it's kind of like half kick, I guess. It's not quite as good as kick, but it's
Well,
like minus
remember
one,
that
minus one.
kick has a somewhat failure state on it.
Right.
Um this gives you a lot of more control over. Well, I mean, this still has a worse failure state than kick. I don't know. I do like it, but
Yeah. The
it's
cool thing is you can change the
gonna be a head
direction.
scratcher when you use it.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
it'll be like, okay, now I'm gonna change this 6 to an 8. Now it's going straight back instead of
yeah.
sideways or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, interesting. I don't know, man. I feel like you got to take Cindy. I would
I
take
know. I know.
Cindy. I don't know if you will.
So how about this? I think that dwarves is actually a really bad matchup for Tomb Kings. Just me
You
personally,
think so?
I do think so. The and for a very weird reason, which is they have dwarves have against Tomb Kings the best 2 die uphills of any team.
Sure.
You're armor 10 plus, you got block on everywhere, you know, like
I mean, 20,
you're gonna
21
be
out of
fine.
36 times you're good.
Yeah, like
Uh,
you just don't double skull. That's literal or sorry, don't get a single skull across either dice and you're fine.
yeah,
Um and you have enough guard on this team where you can get one dies and two dies if, whenever you possibly could. So,
well, in the Dauntless, I mean
hmm
the Dauntless Troll Slayers will be able to come in, and
yes,
if they can get in there, then they can get in there
yeah,
with the Mighty Blow, which isn't going to be a probably a huge factor. Now, who I guess who wins this game? I wouldn't be afraid if I was Mark to throw one dice
yeah.
in this. If you could actually get
Oh
five
yeah, just throw 'em,
strength,
yeah,
I would throw a one die with a lineman.
of course.
Because
So,
one, if
and
you get the skull, you don't get the mighty blow hit
I
anyway.
don't know how many times I've played this matchup, and most of the time it's 1-1 at turn 14 with somebody about to score, and
Hmm.
usually the person about to score fails to score.
Right. So you think
Um,
this is a 1-1? You'd
it's
say it's
almost
1.
always
Yeah.
1-1 and then 2-1 with the person that pushes the edge. Tomb Kings if they foul a lot more, dwarves if they're uphills and one dice go exceptionally well.
Yeah.
He has enough mighty blow that he can like leverage some advantage of if he removes two Tomb Guardians, it helps, but like don't sleep on those blitzers, you know?
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're thinking draw here, but maybe someone
hmm
edges out a 2-1.
Correct.
All right. Next one, Fuzzy Teeth Fingerlings and the Midnight Maulers. Both teams looking for a win as well. Neither have scored a touchdown thus far this year. Played in winter. Norse is the home team. Real beat up Norse. Oh my goodness. What are they down to? Nine
Wow.
players. So
Yep.
two journeymen. What are they? 50K a pop. So
Yeah.
10-15 is the team value. He's got enough to buy an apothecary. God, do you buy an apothecary? I think you do right now. I would. I probably would because we have so I have so few positionals left. I don't want any of them to get super busted up.
Yeah.
Um, Against the Midnight Maulers are at 1,010, also busted up, two journeymen. So
They're
that's
not
about
really saving for
120.
anything anyway.
So that's
Yeah.
1130K versus what did I say on this other one? 1130
10-15.
plus 1015. So 115K for the
Mhm.
fingerlings
And of course, minus 50 if they go ahead and just get their apothecary,
and get the apothecary.
which is probably
Yeah, because
smart.
I mean, there's a huge jump.
You got to
I,
save those ults.
I guess
That's all.
they
Yeah.
picked favorite of, so there's not Ivar and some of the lower valuable
hmm
um, ones since they chose Chaos Undivided.
Yeah.
Um, Commons, nothing super enticing. Could take a mercenary beer bore.
hmm
Um, I could take Papa
Honestly,
Skullbones. Papa
honestly,
Skullbones.
I yeah, Papa Skullbones is fine. I actually do think that like it's sometimes hard to consider because like it's supposed to kind of be a jokester player, but Acorn is actually like I think good in this matchup here. Um, you don't have to rely on Dauntless, which he has a free reroll every single time he does the block anyway. You can just get his strength up where it becomes a 2+ Dauntless, or not, and just go to town with claws all day.
$2+. Well, it would still be 3+, right? To
Sorry,
get
yeah,
even.
it's always the same thing, but I'm saying like
Yeah,
uh you can get that strength one up enough to actually just 3 assists and just hit somebody with a one die with claws or 2 die if you get off your
yeah.
four plus dauntless with the reroll.
I think that the thing you would want to avoid would be obviously getting into a 3-die uphill on accident because you failed
Well,
your
that's what I'm saying.
Dauntless and didn't
Always
set it
using
up.
acorn, yeah,
Yeah,
always using acorn to just throw a you know throw one die or whatever. There's not a lot of block over there.
right. No, not a lot of block. There's a couple in there. There's a Juggernaut Minotaur.
Yeah,
But
but
like I said,
yeah, I
pretty
think
standard
realistically
team.
we're looking at buying Apo, having 65K in cash, and then buying a keg.
Yeah. And I think with all the block, they might be okay. You know,
Yeah.
the frenzy
You
block
just you just
here.
want an APO and have a
Yeah,
keg to get those guys when they're inevitably knocked out through thick skull to come back into the game.
yeah. I don't know. This is hard because I know Travis from 2016, but
Yeah.
similar to Roland, he hasn't played in the new edition. So I haven't seen him play for the
Travis
latest.
played 2 seasons ago with us. Pretty sure, didn't he?
Oh, did he? Okay, I believe you. So
Yeah.
maybe he has played in the new edition. I've never
And
seen John
lizards?
play,
Yeah,
so
I'm not
I'm
familiar with
not sure.
them,
I'm
so
not sure either. So I can't really take into account coach skill. But looking at this really goes, I think, two ways. Either the Chaos Chosen just obliterate the Norse and just
yeah.
kill 10 of them, or the Norse come in, remove a couple dudes unexpectedly, or the old foreigners can kind of be a hero a little bit and
Hmm.
bully some stuff around and they end up winning. I think the
Yeah.
Norse are the better team and should win the game. I just I don't know. I don't know if I could really predict this. I mean, I would just be
I think the
guessing.
Chaos have the better ball carrier this match. That sure
Yeah,
hands block player.
yeah,
It's gonna be hard to actually like put them down.
yeah,
And the big thing is he has a wrestle beastman. You know that does a
yeah,
lot of work against Norse.
yeah. That's right. So maybe Travis does pull this one off. I don't
Yeah,
know. I
I
guess
think
I'd
I
be
think we'll
surprised.
have it 2-1. Like
Yeah,
nobody's really gonna run away with it.
right.
Like it's gonna be a long, long game. And again, it could just be 2-0 with just he kills all his dudes. It
Yep,
happens. Eight
yep.
plus armor, they're gone.
Could see that. Next match, the busted up Taliban Valley Titans and the
Yeah,
Salt Life. So Taliban Valley Titans, they got crushed this past time, losing some of their best players.
that
So
catcher going down to a
Al,
regular catcher but more expensive.
yeah, he's what 20K more expensive? What's movement? 20K, 30K,
Ooh,
30K, I think.
I
Armor,
have to look at my book.
yeah, but either way, he went up. Now he's back down.
Yeah,
Um, is he worth firing? Probably not
no.
yet. I don't think so.
The amount of SPP still for block plus sidestep is just doesn't make him worth firing.
Right. That's
There's
right.
also to consider he has 9 SPP right now, so
Yeah. He'll be
yeah.
getting another one here before
Hmm.
long. Albert Rothman, I think, is the big hurt to lose in this matchup. The tackle
Yeah.
Mighty Blow guard would have been very helpful against Corn. Um, still no Ogre, sitting on 95K. What do
Hmm.
you buy? Has he got four blitzers? He's got four blitzers. He's down to eight players, so he's going to get three journeymen, so
Sure.
150K.
I mean, he might want to. Yeah, it's hard because I don't know if he actually wants the third catcher in the long run, but um,
Yeah,
it ain't bad.
yeah, he's at 1080. Nick's team is healthy, 11 play or no 10 players, so journeyman still. So he'll be at 1060. So actually, Salt Life get 20K on this one.
Yeah,
Only two blood seekers, but a blood spawn.
yeah.
Two
He
two
Spawn
carnivores.
last match, I believe.
Okay. Um, what?
Saving up third reroll, I would assume.
Yeah,
But now you can't.
I think now you get the blood seeker, right? You got to get another blood seeker before the third reroll.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, so no real ball carrier coming in. Well, there is a sure hands extra arm, so he's running with a bloodseeker. Um, if
Yeah.
he can pick it up, he's one SPP away from another primary, which will be really good. I
Hmm.
assume you get block there. Um,
Knowing Nick and what he told me, it's probably not going to be block.
it's not. Well, okay,
Just just knowing him, it's probably not going to be block.
okay,
I can tell you that.
fine. That's fine. Two
If he didn't
heads.
say block right now, it would probably be block. But because it was mentioned, it's not going to be block now.
I would take not Ironheart Skin.
He's going to save up more, and he's going to get dodge
Dodge.
because he's
I
insane.
get that. Yeah. I think two heads would be a faster
Yeah,
dodge, sort of, for
yeah.
right now,
Actually,
and then save up.
he will get 2 heads, I believe so.
I guess break tackle would be just as useful, similar too. So he's got access to a bunch of different options to help his dodging ability.
Well, no,
All right.
you would. They're both. Um, They're both primary at that point, so
Yeah.
you'd want two heads over break tackle because you only get +1 for break tackle because you're strength 4,
Oh, right. Yeah.
and you only get to use it once on the
Once.
activation,
Right.
whereas two
Two
heads
heads is
is
constant.
every yeah.
Yeah. You're right. Um, so I guess who do we got winning this?
Um, I mean, Portland is the hardest team in the game to play. Um,
Yeah.
I like it's a better team than Vampires, but I think it's a harder team to play than Vampires. Um, so if Nick's been picking up the skills to kind of leverage, his games with Corn, because I think honestly he's just been beat up, and it
Hmm.
hasn't really been like a lot of out of place things, or could have been a lot of like bad frenzy positioning that led to him getting beat up. So the biggest hurdle is 3 guard.
Hmm.
Gonna make it really, really, really difficult to ever like have a second frenzy hit ever be good. It's going to be frenzy trap every single time he throws a block.
Right.
And I think just given that, um, Bloodspawn is not going to do enough work to make this into a win. I think just with how beat up he is, I think this is
Fluffs.
honestly I think this is a 2-0 to Fluff.
Yeah. I was gonna say
Yeah,
2-1 probably. Um,
I just I
I
don't I
don't
don't
know
think
if
that I
that's
don't think it can
necessarily
survive
true.
a full game to
Right. Well, and as
remember
soon as
eight
he
plus eight
starts
plus
losing,
armor lineman.
yeah, once he starts
Yeah.
losing, that's what I was gonna say. Once he starts losing the lineman, it gets really tough. I know Shad had that similar. Like once he
Hmm.
lost the lineman, it was just like 6 dudes on the field and against
Yeah.
10 vampires and thralls. Even though you have really good blood seekers left, it's just not enough
Correct.
when you're down. You can't get good blocks, can't get good frenzy
Yeah.
follow ups. It just makes it rough. So I totally agree with you there.
Now, called shot though, that Bloodseeker with claws,
Hmm.
the Bloodseeker with claws is going to kill Wolf Fischler this game. Just going to kill him.
Just kill him. I'm okay with
Yep.
that. $5 more to the pot.
Hopefully.
Um, all right, next one, Box Art Barons, Blackwater Prowlers. So the Barons got their win. Blackwater Prowlers held out a draw against the redraft Humans.
Yeah.
Um,
A very good draw
yes,
because nothing suffered.
right. Um, 3 guard, so guard, wrestle, stand firm, bodyguards. It's really good.
Yeah.
Um, Blodge, dodge, noble lineman's busted up armor though. That's the downside. So he could get dropped out pretty quick on a
Hmm.
pow. Um, leader, sure hands thrower, 2 rerolls plus leader. So one journeyman, so 45K. So that's what 1135? No,
Mm.
five
No.
1140.
What are they?
1140.
Okay. Yeah.
And against 1215 for the Blackwater Prowlers, they've gotten a lot of team value. Where are they getting all this from? Well, they got 2 wraiths. They got one ghoul, one ghoul, 2 werewolves. Uh, Lucian von Wigglebutt actually cracked me up when I
That's
saw
such a
that.
good
I
name.
did not expect that, and it
That's
came up
such a
on
good
tour play, and I was like,
name.
"Good job, Wigglebutt." Um, no mighty blow on the werewolves, which is fine, but they do have claws block. Mighty blow
Hmm.
block on the flesh golem, which is really good.
Yeah. Uncertain
Guard
if
on
he
one.
goes to Mighty Blow anyway at any point.
Yeah,
That's a big save up.
and then the wraith guard is a good piece, obviously.
Yes.
So
Best player on the team right there.
yeah, the claws are going to be useful if they can get a hold of obviously the bodyguards.
It's okay, right?
Most of
It's
the
it's a
team
plus
is
one.
is going to be a bust on.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't see that coming into play a ton.
Yeah.
The stand
A lot of
firm,
stand
a lot
firm
of
and
stand firm,
fend.
and so
Remember fend as well, because
yeah,
you can't frenzy on fend
can't frenzy
because
that.
you're not based.
And your rerolls will, I mean not your
Yeah.
rerolls, your
Keep
block
in mind fend
ability
is
is going to get
optional.
negated a little bit by wrestle. So
Yeah.
I think the necromantic horror may find themselves on the ground quite a bit more than they're used to through all the wrestle and such.
Yeah.
Um,
The three guard is gonna be a nightmare with stand firm.
yes, if they get in a good spot, I think it'll be rough.
Hmm.
I think this one, I'm going to say it's a draw 1-1. Um, I don't really see either team doing exceptionally well. I think there's going to be a lot of standing in the middle, stand firming, and wrestling each other down, and nobody's moving anywhere but standing up and moving two or three spots to reposition. But I don't see anybody making a ton of room. I guess I
Yeah.
could see the werewolves, or werewolves are werewolves. They're in the right hands. They are really scary to
And
face.
Gerard also has, is it 75 he's getting in petty cash?
I
Or is
think,
it 12, 15, and 1140?
yeah. So it's Cindy, right? And
Because if it's already even, what happens when you also introduce, yeah, a bomb into the
so
mix?
you take Cindy and you throw the bombs to the wraiths, who
Oh
cannot
no.
catch them,
No hands.
and automatically blow them up. That's the
Yeah.
move, right? You throw them directly at the wraiths. They
No,
can't get,
so they, oh right, because they'll catch it counts as a fumble, so
and
it
it
does
blows up
roll
in their
before
square.
it fumbles. Yeah.
It blows up in
So
their
they don't get
square.
a chance to throw it. Oh
Yeah.
wow.
I think if you get the opportunity, that's where to throw it.
Mhm.
I mean, granted, nothing on this team really is going to have a good chance of throwing it, let alone, or to catch it is low. Throwing it
Correct.
back is damn near impossible since most of the
Actually,
team doesn't have passing ability.
so always remember, if you throw onto somebody's square, if
Yeah.
you throw an accurate pass, they have no minus to catch it. Actually,
To
they have,
deflect it.
yeah, they have minuses to deflect it, but if they catch it, okay,
Hmm.
um, it's going to be their agility to catch it. So, like a werewolf will catch a bomb on a 3+, and if it doesn't blow up, then they get to throw it. But it's usually a 5 or a 6 to deflect, and
Yeah.
a +1 to deflect, of course, because stunty.
Yeah, and I've not I don't throw to people. I don't I mean I get the appeal. I will throw to the spot
Always next to
adjacent
them.
to
Yeah,
them. Yeah, I mean um
it's usually inaccurate when you do like bombardiers anyway. Like
right. Well, and I
you're
only
just
throw
looking to
quick
not
passes.
fumble. Yeah.
I only throw quicks. I mean, I get it.
Ooh,
It's
I
three
don't. I don't know
plus
about that, buddy. When you have pass, you should be throwing so it doesn't scatter back into you.
pass and accurate. So
Correct. Yes.
it's a 3+ rerollable. So one in nine failure. Most of the
Remember,
time you can get it off.
2+ to not hit your team. That's the big thing, or likely not hit your team.
Likely not. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I guess with this, I guess with that being said, knowing it's could be Cindy, I could see
Yeah.
this one going to Imperial. I could see
Mhm.
Imperials winning this one.
'Cause I was
Um,
thinking 1-1, but then I remembered there's a bomb.
yeah, I could see this going 2-1. I think or maybe even 2-0, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, I think that now that Cindy's in play, Imperials
Yeah.
will win this one. Um,
Or of course, Cindy blows up Gerard's entire team, and then everybody who we suggested Cindy to physically murders us.
right, yes. I
But
hope
that's
that
their
Cindy
fault.
gets induced like
Just roll
every
better.
game this time. So
Yeah.
next, passing pathogen, Stinky Skinks.
Hmm.
So number one team versus team in ninth. Passing pathogens did lose their star thrower. What was its name again? I will look. Avery Flew. The
Yeah. Avery
Cannoneer
flew.
block leader
Sayonara.
is dead. There's been a couple big deaths on this team.
Good riddance.
Yeah. Look at all these retired dead.
I know.
So
It's
there's a huge list of players. All right, so influenza is still there. Block, dauntless, jump up, strip ball. Very good player.
yes.
Obviously, the main offense for them. Bubonic is there. They did pick up a rat ogre this time. Um,
Hmm.
and then tetanus is a new block, dodge, gutter runner. So a couple weapons, no throwers at all right now.
Correct. Yeah.
No money because they took the
This is
rat
just
ogre.
2 gutters, right?
Just two gutters.
Hmm.
It's not a great team,
Yeah.
really.
I think the
1200K,
money. I think the money hasn't shaken out upon this redraft. Like started fine, but needed the money to roll in a little better.
yeah. Well, and I think the thing was is people opted to take more skilled players versus Appos, and so in these first couple games, if they didn't get the money to get the Appo, they lost a skilled player and totally got wrecked. I mean, it was just such a
Hmm.
gamble to take.
Mm.
Passing pathogens are up against four block Saurus and a Juggernaut Crocs, which is on paper a very scary team. One reroll, or I'm sorry, one journeyman. So they're at
Yeah.
1100 flat. So
Yeah.
they're
So it's
going
a
to
hundred.
get 100K. So what do you get with 100K on this team? They don't have quite the access that a lot of things do. So
No. Yeah. Lustrian um,
Lustrian suffers a
doesn't
little
get
bit.
access to it. Yeah.
I mean, inaccurate Fireball Wizard, probably not worth it. Carry Cold Steel could be a good pickup, I think.
Hmm.
I think people overlook her a lot for 50K. I mean, she's essentially a strength two,
Yeah.
you know, well, Amazon. She's got Block, Dauntless, Frenzy, and Loner 4 plus, but she is only strength two. But
Uh,
she's, you know,
yeah. I'd personally say you're looking at probably a wandering apo, or if you really want to try to like go for the win, get a bribe.
yeah. But extra team
I
training would be useful too because they're down. They only have two
Oh, 2
rerolls,
rerolls, yeah. I
so
think
extra
that's the
team
call.
training is
No,
the
it
way to
has to
go.
be the reroll every time.
Yeah.
And
Still
they
no
have
Apo.
75K to spend right now, which they don't have to.
Yeah. Still no Apo. Um, yeah. There's nothing else to buy at this point. I would just take the Journeyman Skink and roll on with it.
Yep.
Who wins this? I
I mean,
think that.
this is still a Lizardman team, okay?
Yeah.
With a full block assortment of Saurus.
Yeah.
I don't know this player, um, so I can't judge on any of their skill level. Maurice is no slouch as a coach, but you know
Hunter.
he's not
You're
been
saying
playing.
Hunter. Yeah.
Yeah, Maurice is no slouch as a coach. He hasn't been playing that long, but he's been playing long enough to not really be considered, you know, like a rookie coach.
Yeah.
So if there's a massive experience disparity, I think Maurice takes that. If they're of the equivalent experience, I mean, this is
The
not
Lizardman
so
team
easy to
looks
match.
better. Yeah. The Lizardman team
Yeah,
looks better on paper. I
correct.
don't know if I don't know, like you said, their experience level. Hunter's pretty much just in the process of learning the rules, let alone
Yeah,
getting into a lot of the strategy. So I
yeah,
think it's one of those things where experience is going to trump what's on paper
yeah,
in this one. So I mean, is it 3-0? Maybe.
yeah. I
It may be a 3-0. I don't know. It
yeah,
could be 2-0. I think that once Hunter realizes he's losing, the fouls will start coming out. So at the very
yeah,
least, maybe Maurice gets busted the fuck up somehow with
yeah.
some
Right.
Croxigore elbow drops or something. So
Yeah.
all right.
It's just hard to say. Yeah,
So
probably a 3-0.
yep.
Just
So
I hate to call it, but I think it might be.
it might be a 3-0. Yeah, I'd
Hmm.
agree. Kind of looking real quick. I know we're a little over time. This is going to be a long video,
Yeah,
but um, kind of looking at these, most of the team values are sitting around 1150 to 1300 right now. Redrafts are a little higher, but I mean we have some new teams that are higher than redrafts now. I mean the Blackwater Prowlers are above the passing pathogens. So I think those new teams are catching up a little bit. Dedicated fans wise, we have one person rocking dedicated fans 7, which is Maurice. Still a pretty big difference, obviously, in SPP generated so far. However, the Blackwater Prowlers have accumulated 32 SPP in just 2 games relative to the 91 that
yeah.
the Dark Elves have in a whole season, right? So
Hmm.
on those players. And so things are catching up. Best performance right now, the Purple Haze have 30 performance points on whatever this really means, just everything. uh,
I hate
I
that
hate
stat.
that. That's the worst stat ever.
Yeah,
Um, Most scorer. Right now, there's a two-way tie between Maurice's Skaven and Bob's Underworld at 6 apiece. Best defense. We got 3 teams that haven't allowed a score. It's Maurice, Z, and yourself. So
hmm,
congratulations on that. Most beast. 2 teams. Both Mark and Nick's teams have caused 8 casualties apiece. Your opponent, obviously, Roland, is not far behind, so maybe he
yeah.
busts up some of your guys. Oh, what did
Right.
I just
Could very
click?
well just kill everything.
Um, And then looking at most injured, obviously the ogres have been beat up quite a bit.
You know,
Not
fairly
surprisingly,
irrelevant. Yeah,
Norse
for
have
them.
been beat up. More surprisingly, 7 injuries for Corn, seven
Well,
injuries for Chaos
not that
Chosen.
surprising.
Right.
Remember, they got the Norse problem, right?
I think it's interesting that both Corn teams are up here, plus Norse.
You like I said, you should not be surprised. Remember that
Right. They are 8 plus.
plus are exposed with no defensives constantly.
Yep. Most deadly, so number of deaths caused. You've killed 2 players yourself this year. John has also killed 2, and
Yeah,
Hunter has killed 2 players.
yeah.
So that's
My two
good.
kills were in the same game, back to
Nice.
back.
Very nice. Dirty players right now is Bob with 8 fouls so far. Rachel, they have been caught by the referees the most, along
Yeah,
with Z. Um, most completions thus far is Bob with 5.
getting him by one.
Yep, close behind by 1 for Fluff's team. Best stunty is Gerald.
Let's go, Gerald.
Let's
You
go,
got it,
Gerald.
buddy.
Best stunty, 25% win ratio. Um, most consecutive wins, there's a handful of 2s, and there's a handful of 2 losses. So there is the team overview looking at individual players.
This is
Um,
where it gets wacky.
yeah, this is where most valued player right now is a gutter runner, Sneak Scuttle Spike at 205K. Mr. Crowley is the Death Dodgers werewolf at
Yep.
185, and then
The
there's some other
vampire up
players.
there.
Vampire Elizabeth Bathroy is at 170K. That's my
That's
block
the
dodge sidestepper. So
you pick sidestep as well.
I do
Nice.
think that the starting with the skills obviously makes vampires more palatable to start with.
Of
If
course.
there were
Yeah.
no skills, this team would be
Awful. Awful.
possibly unplayable without pro and block, and so it would be virtually unplayable.
It's fine to
Um,
be bad, just not unfun.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that vampires are still a tournament team where you get those
Mhm.
skills. I think people can still take them and do okay.
Yes.
In a league where you don't get a starting skill, like it's just a million flat,
Mhm.
take goblins
Yeah.
instead. It's going to
Yeah.
be more fun. Um, and you'll probably win more games because you at least get
Yeah.
stars
I
too.
did. I
Right.
did.
Big guys, 2 at 180K. I think these just have 1 skill a pop. Actually,
Yeah.
this blocker's got 2, so blood
So
spawn's just 1.
this is
Um,
basically what it's going to look like the whole season. It's going to be like one or two big guys and Gerald's defensive line,
yes, that's
defensive
right.
and
It's going to
offensive
be
line.
all ogres and then like
Yeah,
one big guy.
it's going to be
Um,
Gerald's.
most valued stunty or just flat, no skilled stunties.
Yep.
Which is funny. Most experience this season. So Sneak Scuttle Spike has gained 15 SPP. Um, 2 of my vampires have gained 12 and 11, so I've been
Yeah.
able to get some SPP on them, which is nice. Um, Anthrax, which is the new blitzer for the passing pathogens, is racked up 14. I think that's really unexpected for me.
It's one of the only good names he has on his team too.
Anthrax, yeah.
Hmm.
Best performance, Flicks lateral 7 was
He's
probably
got a
because
number.
he's got 5 completions.
He's got a
Um,
number next to his name.
yeah. Most score, Sneak Scuttle Spike has scored 5 touchdowns thus far. Tetanus,
Here's
which
an
is
important number.
yes,
Yeah.
which Tetanus has the new block dodge
Yeah.
gutter runner. It's got 3, and some others. Wiggle butt.
Little
The
wiggle butt.
better catcher back to normal catcher Gonzalo. It's got 2. Most beasts. So Albert Rothman, who is missing this next game's got 4. I have a vampire that has knocked out 4
Yeah.
casualties as well, which is good. Been lucky with her. Your white blitzer is on here with 3 as well.
Yeah.
Eleanor
Apparently,
Giesler.
Mighty Blow is a good skill.
Mighty blow is good. It'll help get casualties. Um, Angus Grudgebear, it's got 3. Anthrax 3 as well. Most injured, the vegan one. He is a marauder for Shad's Corn. Has been busted up twice, and Duke Wavebreaker Fletcher for the Salt Life has been injured twice as well. Most MVP. There's a couple people that have actually gotten both MVPs in 2 games, which is good for them. It seems unlucky, or it
Hmm.
seems lucky and unlucky, I guess,
Yeah.
sometimes too. I don't know if I like doing that, but I guess if you're trying to get one person up. Uh,
Yeah.
Edurep, I guess, has 5 fouls caused as an underworld snotling. King Julian Noblar for the District Decimators, also 3. So most sent offs, there was a Tomb Guardian sent off at the top of the
Yeah.
list. There's a couple others in
I think it
here.
was a kickoff event as well.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Um, most completions, it's Flick's lateral right now. Roland Strobel's behind by one. No interceptions thus far. So that is really it.
Yeah.
Um,
Something to note as well, that completion is actually 5-4-3-2-1 for
is it?
the yeah,
That's satisfying.
yeah.
Then 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 for everybody else.
Yeah.
Um, all right. Well, Alex, thank you for joining. This was
Yep,
fun.
it was a pleasure.
Yeah, I think it's fun to do this. Mark mentioned this is something he was more interested in. It obviously
Yeah, yeah.
makes for a little bit longer videos, but I think they're more informative maybe to our new coaches, and people can you could just skip ahead to where your game is and hear our commentary. You don't have to hear everybody's, but it's good to. I think it gets you more into the league when you start to recognize players,
Mhm.
because then they feel like real people, right? Even though they're
Yeah,
not, they're just figures, but it feels like you're actually watching real sports, real fantasy sports in some way.
yeah. We're
Uh,
fantasy football.
yeah, and when you have somebody who goes down as like a legend in our league, it's very fulfilling, I think, as a gamer, and I
Right.
think that's always been something I've really liked about Blood Bowl. Was the kind of immersion and continuity of this part of it that I think
Yeah.
a lot of games don't have. I mean, um, they have narrative play, but it's not quite growing and such. So, all right,
Mhm.
man. Well, thank you for joining. Thank you everybody for listening, and we'll do this again next time. All right, signing off.